there's never going to be a perfect moment. There's never going to be this perfect opportune time where all the stars align and it's finally the perfect time to ask that girl out on a date or start your business or to move, to relocate to a different city. There's always going to be reasons and things as why we think we need to put it off. If it's something that's important to us, there's always going to be something going on, something in our life, some problem that arises. Somebody else has some drama going on that's involved, and now we feel like, okay, we can't do the thing, right? But the truth of the matter is there's never going to be that perfect time. We fall into this trap as human beings of deluding ourselves into thinking that there's going to be this perfect magical moment and or that it has to feel right in the moment. That's part of this story that we get like in our head about is like, oh, well, I can tell it's not the right time because it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel right. And this is something that, as you guys can probably tell, I've had a little bit of been moving around a bit lately. Right now, I'm actually staying at this condo in Paradise Valley, on the border of Paradise Valley and Scottsdale, which is like one of the nicer areas, if not the nicest area in the Phoenix metro area. But the reason that I'm staying here right now is because my contractor, as I mentioned in a different video, they've been working on this cabin in Colorado. They still haven't been able to finish up the house that I'm working on. So by me taking that, rolling with the punches, like I said in that video that I posted where I was in the construction site of that house that we're renovating, I was like, how can I look at the silver lining with this? Well, this is an interesting silver lining. Now I'm staying in this condo in one of the nicest areas around, right? But it's because I had this kind of uncomfortable conversation. I was willing to kind of put the ball in their court or kind of just say, look, like, you know, like I was expecting this was going to be done at this point in time. You guys have kind of like been delaying. And so what can we do here? And so now we came to a mutually agreed upon solution of me staying over here in the meantime. And the other story that I have for you guys, so I was staying at a different place with a couple of different roommates, right? And this is an interesting one because one of the guys that we were staying with, that's staying at the house over there, he says, like, he would express to us about how he wants to go out more. He wants to not go out necessarily, but he wants to meet a woman, right? He wants to meet somebody. But throughout the course of me staying there, I would ask him, like, he's like, oh, I don't want to get on dating apps because it doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel natural to be on an app, and I don't want to do it because of that. We would go out. I'd have him come out with me. He'd come out with me, my other friends, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, but I don't want to just go out and talk to girls and approach girls because it doesn't feel natural to him, right? But so the story with this, the point being, yeah, it's not going to feel natural, buddy, because you're not used to doing it. Starting a business is not going to feel natural because you're not used to doing it. Getting into the boxing ring, as I've been doing lately, I've been taking these boxing lessons. And I was just today learning how to do a jab and then a left hook, like a combo of the hook coming out from the jab. And the hook does not feel natural at all. That felt so unnatural doing this hook that I actually had trouble with it doing this combo that we were working on today. And, you know, I talked to like my coach who's training me, and he was like, yeah, you know, it is a little bit harder. That's why I wait till this point in the training to go over this part. And just last night, I was out at a country dancing kind of lesson, and we were working on a move in the country dance. And the girl that I was dancing with, we were working on this one move where you put the arm like over the shoulder and then you spin around by the shoulder. And it was just kind of awkward. Like we did it multiple times, but it still didn't feel fluid, right? And we both kind of just looked at each other like, yeah, it just kind of feels awkward, but that's because we haven't done it enough. That's because we haven't done it enough. That's the reason it doesn't feel natural. So the point I'm making with this video is like, yeah, it's not going to feel natural. If you're trying to do something new that you haven't done before, that you're not used to doing, it's not going to fucking feel natural. What feels natural to him is coming home from work and sitting down and playing video games at night. And you know what? That's all well and good. There's a time and place for that if you want to kick back and relax. But if you're coming home after every evening of work and going and playing video games, but at the same time you're saying that you want to meet somebody, then you don't really want to meet somebody. you don't really, when somebody says they want to do something, but their actions do not line up with their words, their actions are conveying the truth of what it is that they really want. What he really wants is to sit on his ass and play whatever game he's playing. I don't even know the name of it. It's like one of those, whatever, like RPG, like World of Warcraft type things. And so that's what he wants. And what I'm asking of you and of all of us to do, myself included, because look, I've made this mistake before. I'm not a perfect person either, and I have fallen into this trap many times in my life as well. Is the thing that you are saying that you want to do and accomplish something that you are actually moving towards? Because if it's not, then you don't actually want to do it. Just get rid of the cognitive dissonance then, and just tell yourself, no, I just want to sit here and play video games. But why do this? Why create this story in your mind? You're creating an inner tension. You're creating cognitive dissonance, and you're lowering that level of integrity that you have with yourself by claiming that you want one thing. You're literally dissipating your energy to create that change in your life by doing this. You're saying I want one thing, but your actions are representing something else. So you are losing self-trust by doing this, by repeating this habit that is out of alignment with what you were saying you actually want. And so, yeah, there's never going to be a perfect time, and it's never going to just feel natural if you're doing something that you haven't done before. A lot of people get, again, caught up in this trap. Oh, it doesn't feel natural, so I'm not going to do it. Well, nothing felt natural. When you were a kid learning how to walk, it didn't feel natural. Every single thing that you tried to learn to do, and that's one thing that we're going to be working on. I'm working on a bunch of different stuff right now, but whenever I do begin this coaching that I've been talking about, group coaching, we're going to work on stretching our comfort zones of what is natural for us, what is not natural. There was a point in time where, for me, and I was actually kind of lucky because I had a background in theater. When I was a kid, I was younger, I did theater and things like that. So I naturally, and I was in a choir, I naturally was able to speak from my diaphragm and project my voice. But that's something that's very, very important when you're talking to somebody. Let's say you're going out. Let's say that you're on a date. Let's say that you are working in sales, as I was. If you're talking like the person that you're talking to can barely hear you, like, you're not going to get very far in any of those things. In fact, anywhere in life, because the people that are not able to speak like they mean it, to speak with conviction, to actually project their voice out, people don't really take them seriously. I mean, it might be an unfortunate kind of truth, but that's just kind of how it is. And so if you don't learn how to actually speak at a volume where people can hear you and people won't respect you, right? There's this level of respect that somebody has when somebody's actually committing to what they're saying. And if they feel all nervous, like they can barely even understand this person, a lot of the times you won't even understand what the person's saying. You have to ask them to repeat themselves, and it ruins the entire rhythm of a dynamic. Imagine trying to go into somebody's house and sell them a security system, which is what a job that I had in the past. And I'm talking like this, and like the person can barely understand me. Like, he's gonna be like, "Fuck off, bro! Like, get off my porch, get off my doorstep." So these are all things that, you're right. It doesn't feel natural at first, but feeling natural is something that you have to build towards with whatever skill that you're doing. I'm writing this book right now. I'm in the process of writing. I have that book about limiting beliefs that's up, and it's down. Actually, you can check it out below in the channel description. You can download that, but I'm actually working on a book that is literally everything that I've come to learn about visualization, from studying all these different methods, all these, techniques people use in NLP, techniques that they use in Navy SEALs training, techniques that Michael Phelps uses in professional athletes, and dialing it in to where I'm giving you guys every single thing that I've learned about how to use visualization. And I'm also going to be working on a book about robotic affirming as well, but the visualization one is the one that I'm working on currently. And, all of these different things, new things that you're doing, again, it doesn't feel natural. So it's like, that's the point of this video. There's never going to be a perfect moment, but within that context too, there's never going to be a moment, because in your mind, the perfect moment is when it feels natural to do it. And it's not going to feel natural until you start pushing your comfort zone. You have to push what is within your comfort zone. That's why they say life begins at the edge of your comfort zone, because if you're continuing to live in this comfort zone, like my friend, well, he's just going to continue to get the same results that he's getting, which is coming home, sitting on his ass, playing computer games, playing video games online. What kind of results do you think that that's going to get you? If you're a grown ass person in this case, this dude is 30 years old and he's coming home doing this. You got to think about the future, man. Like what, like really, like if you think about it, like what are you doing? Because you could be using that time to invest in another skill set. You could be using that time to actually, go out and meet somebody, or to build connections with people, to network, to go out, go do Toastmasters, a way that you can learn how to speak better, go to an entrepreneur association, go to some sort of something where you are actually building towards something that your future self is going to thank you for. The last point I'm going to make is that, and like, I feel like kind of a dick because I'm ragging on this guy, but like, I think it's an important story. I think this is an important allegory or metaphor for what I'm talking about, is that he did go out one night with our other friend, met this girl, and she lives like halfway across the country. Like she lives on the other side of the country, to be honest. But he's all like building this connection with her, FaceTiming her every single night for hours. And I'm not even joking. We would be out sometimes and he would be on this phone FaceTiming this girl, or he would just be in his room FaceTiming this girl. And at a certain point, you know, they were supposed to meet up and she was supposed to come into town. They were supposed to meet up and she just kind of bailed. She was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm just really not feeling it. And guess why why would that be? Well, subconsciously, she's probably thinking, look, yeah, I met this guy. He was cool, but why is he FaceTiming me every single night? Even if she likes it, consciously, like logically likes it, she's like subconsciously, does this guy not have anything else to do better than talk to me for hours every single night? He doesn't even know me that well. We only met one night. I live across the country. Doesn't he have other girls in his area that he can talk to besides me? So these are all conscious things that are subconscious things that are going on in this chick's mind. Like I can just tell. And so, of course, I wasn't even surprised that she actually canceled plans with him. Whereas he was like, what the hell? Like caught him off guard. But if you are too available, if you are just not valuing your time, people are going to look at that. People can see what you're really up to. People know. People can read between the lines. If you don't have anything going on, if you don't have anything that you're actually pursuing, a purpose, a mission that you're on, something that you are giving your energy into, people are going to be like, you're going to look less, it's going to put people off because you're not valuing your time. And this goes all part and parcel with, your self-image, your self-concept, your self-beliefs. But really, really think about this, guys. Like those things and those people that you know, they always say that they want something, but then they go and do the opposite thing. What is that really conveying to you? What it's really conveying is that they don't really want it. They're not willing to put in the work. They're not willing to go the distance. They're not willing to step outside of that comfort zone to actually move the ball forward. Because what is it that we're going to need to do? We're going to need to have uncomfortable conversations. We're going to not feel natural doing the thing. It's going to be hard. It's going to maybe make us go through some negative emotions. We're going to have to emotionally regulate ourselves. If we're going out, we're going to get rejected. If we're putting ourselves out there, we're going to get rejected. That's why most people don't want to post on social media. They don't want the pain associated with feeling, oh, people don't like me. People don't like my videos. And they get caught up in this story because they're valuing what the 3D is reacting to them more than what they're doing. The people that truly achieve success in social media or in life itself, they take action, and they reflect on the action after they're done taking action, and then they adjust, then they calibrate. They don't sit around dwelling in this woe is me story. Oh, I can't do it, and it doesn't feel natural, right? And I'm getting kind of intense because this is just something that I just feel intensely about this. Like we really have to just go out here and push ourselves to do things that we're not used to doing if we really want to have change. You really think that you want to have a change in your life, but you're not willing to change your behavior? I mean, that's what Einstein said is the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get a different result. So I'm passionate about this, as you can see. At the same time, maybe, everything, you can take everything with a grain of salt. All truths are but half truths. If you're really doing something and you try doing something new, but you're not getting any success with it, well, then it's time to go back to the drawing board, right? And of course, you're going to want to build that naturalness in with whatever you're doing. Of course, me practicing these dance moves, it's going to feel more natural the more that I do it. Or maybe there's a part of the move that I'm not doing correctly, right? That I need to tweak in order to get that naturalness, that feeling of naturalness back, right? Because you do want that feeling of naturalness. What I'm telling you though, is that it takes time, it takes practice. Hitting a tennis forehand or hitting a boxing hook when you're not used to doing it feels unnatural as fuck. But by repetition, by going through the process, by going through the motions, that's how you build that naturalness. It can't just come out of the sky and fall into your lap. The same way that a woman's not just gonna fall out of the sky and fall into my friend's lap, or she's not gonna just knock on the door and just be like, hey, I'm here. None of these skills, none of these things that are worth achieving, whether it's building a business, whether it is learning how to do an athletic thing like boxing or tennis or learning a sport and actually taking it to a level where you're proficient at it, none of those things are easy. They take time, they take effort, they take practice. Writing a book takes commitment, it takes consistency. And this is just what's missing from a lot of people. They just don't have it. They don't have what it takes. They don't have the fucking guts and the fortitude to stick with something, even though it feels uncomfortable in the moment. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. And that's the point that I'm making to you. Yeah, we can talk about all this, oh yeah, aligned action and inspired action and only do it when it feels right. But again, all truths are half truths. Sometimes you need to step up, do the thing even when you don't feel like doing it. When I was talking to Tim Grimes, he's a best-selling author, right? His books are best-selling books on Amazon about manifestation. And he told me, yeah, sometimes he would just have to sit down. He didn't really feel like doing it, but you got to do it. You got to get out of your own way and make the thing happen. Do the thing. Anyways, guys, this is why a lot of people are struggling out here and lost, because they think that they're waiting for some perfect opportune moment when the perfect opportune moment doesn't really exist. Much love as always. If you found this useful, drop this video with a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.